justifies their hunger, my children! We have seen the broad strokes of the zombie apocalypse of the DC universe. We have seen a group of villains managing to save the day. But now let's look at some heroes who failed to save the day. Recall that this all began with the anti-life equation joining with Cyborg's technology. The equation even forcing Darkseid to commit suicide by leaping into one of Apocalypse's fire pits. Well, we begin this story with Big Barda and Mr. Miracle arriving at the ruins of Apocalypse. I'm feeling pretty good about it, all things considered. Still, they recognize that Earth is in danger from the equation that has turned so many into zombies and head back to try to deal with it. Meanwhile, the superhero known as Mr. Terrific is trying to study the virus, figure out some way of either halting further spread or curing the victims. He leaves when he detects a boom tube opening, which was of course the other two heroes returning to their apartment, and they're not exactly certain what to do until a knock is at their door. It's just like an old horror story, isn't it? The last two people stood alone in a room, and there was a knock at the door. They are concerned at first that it's just a zombie trying to get in, but when they ring the doorbell, they learn it's Mr. Terrific. His mask protected him from the effects of the equation, and he'd like to go to Apocalypse, try to find the origins of the virus, but they inform him that that is quite impossible. As such, they decide to recruit some help for their next idea, heading over to Cord Industries, where the Blue Beetle and Booster Gold are located. The door is solid titanium, so Ted Cord is unconcerned, but then Barda arrives and takes the door out. Fortunately, they are all friends here. Barda would even hug the Blue Beetle, but she's covered in undead bits. That's the best time to hug someone. It makes it more squishy. Mr. Miracle has an ear in his tights, although that has nothing to do with the zombies. Using Blue Beetle's vehicle, the Bug, the group head to England for their next plan to save the day. Magic! Specifically, they look for John Constantine, who himself is on the run from the zombie hordes in Liverpool. They rescue him, though he is not especially happy to see members of the cape and costume crowd, pointing out how arrogant Scott Free is to take the name Mr. Miracle. I always knew Constantine was a man after my own heart. Unfortunately, he says there's no magical solution to this. He's planning on going to get drunk and wait out the end of the world. They let him go, Mr. Terrific saying it's time for their last-ditch plan to solve everything. Blue Beetle having the bug was one reason why they went to rescue the two, but Booster Gold was the other reason. He has access to time travel technology, meaning they can go back in time to undo everything. They head to the home of Fire and Ice, whom sadly have both been zombified, along with a lot of the local residents in the area. Barda and Miracle do their best to hold off the horde, but there are simply too many. They die in each other's arms. And unfortunately for our other heroes, they reach the time machine, only to find the time traveler, Wave Rider, who, as a master of time, will not permit them to go back in time and change events. Constantine, however, has had a change of heart and teleports in, using his magic to hold Wave Rider at bay. The zombified Barda attacks and kills Mr. Terrific, which causes enough of a distraction to make them too late. Booster's ancestors in this time period are killed, and thus he is erased from time along with the time machine. His future no longer exists. Of course, that should probably mean that none of them should be in that basement since they only went there for the time machine, but that would also mean that their individual memories are changed, but they still remember him. And why does everything taste like spiders all of a sudden? Blue Beetle is turned and the Wave Rider prepares to leave, but Constantine is pissed at him and forces him to use his magic to stay, letting the zombified Blue Beetle kill him. However, Constantine is saved from the same fate thanks to Dr. Fate. He and Zatanna rescue him, though Constantine is inspired by the sacrifice of the heroes who deserve to live more than him, and he swears the world isn't over until he says it is. But if he does save the world, we will not see it today, my children.
Oh, hey there, you fella. What are you doing up on the windowsill? Were you looking at something?